codified into law, take away the rights of American citizens, build concentration camps, build secret CIA prisons, and kidnap people against international law from other countries and fly into them secret prisons with no oversight. Are we going to continue to let this happen? And all of these things happen on the basis of 9/11. So when people ask, what would the motive be for our government doing that, I would respond with, well, what's been the result? If America determined through think tanks like Project for a New American Century that they're going to be an empire, then 9/11 worked wonderfully for that plan.
Yeah, who required NIST scientists to sign a non-disclosure agreement? I'd like to know who required that of those guys. I would never do it. But who required that? And you know, there's several other questions. You know, why can't they release the photos to us? These are and videos that NIST acquired. Something like 7,000 photographs from private individuals, many of them. You know, why can't they just release that as a taxpayer's expense? Let us look. If there's nothing to hide, why hide it? You know, and the fact that they won't release it does smack of some kind of a cover-up, all right.
But this time they crossed the line, and it's worth running these risks and encountering these hassles, getting hate mail from people on these conservative alert mailing lists who are told that, you know, I've compared Bush to Hitler and I'm still teaching in Wisconsin, and so they write me death threats and obscenities. And, but I also get a whole lot of support. And even Fox viewers who just happened to see me by accident were 50-50 positive, which is amazing. People who caught me on Hannity and Combs just because they were watching Fox, half those emails that came to me from that were positive.
I do know, I don't believe, I know that 9/11 was an inside job. Professor Stephen Jones has found residue of thermate on the steel samples from the World Trade Center. We now know that it was taken down in a controlled demolition.
Back in the book segment tonight, there's a fringe element out there that believes the U.S. government orchestrated 9/11. That is, President Bush and the American military killed 3,000 people. One of those pushing this theory is Kevin Barrett, who actually taught at the University of Wisconsin this fall. He joins us now from Madison. You know, there's no sense in debating this issue. I had one of your compadres on a couple of months ago. I don't believe a word you say. You're not going to change your position. My best argument is there's so much anti-American press out there. If you had a shred of legitimate evidence, it'd be on the front page of Le Monde or some other place that wants the USA to be embarrassed. So we don't see these reports anywhere. I don't believe you have anything. But you go on and you continue to say the Bush administration, American military, killed 3,000 people. How has that impacted your life? What has happened to you since you started doing this?
Well, you know, Bill, it's actually been one of the best things that ever happened to me. And in fact, we're not a fringe element. The latest polls show that 84% of the American people do not accept the 9/11 Commission report. Only 16% of the American people believe the government is telling the truth about 9/11. What
poll is that?
That's a New York Times poll that came out just several months ago.
I don't have that poll in front of me.
So actually, you're in the fringe element, Bill.
Yeah, I don't believe that that's true, but go ahead. What has happened?
Well, why don't you look it up? You can Google it up in 5 seconds.
Absolutely, we'll check it out. What has happened to you since you've been putting this outlandish stuff out there?
Well, it's not outlandish. In fact, as I said, it's now practically a majority position in the U.S. and certainly around the world. And I found that the people who are working in the 9/11 truth movement are some of the best, most honest, intelligent, caring, compassionate, and idealistic people that I've ever met in my life.
Then why won't any responsible news organization print this stuff?
Well, they do. They only print it once, though. For instance, all the newspapers.
It seems to be a big story at the President of the United States.
After 9/11.
Hold it.
BBC News printed stories about these hijackers turning up alive after 9/11. Other respected news outlets printed stories about how bin Laden met with the CIA when he was in Dubai in July 2001. Le Monde stands behind that. Figaro stands behind that. The Guardian stands behind that.
If there was any evidence of this story, it would be all over the place. It would be the story of the century. It's no place.
Well, unfortunately, they print it once and then they just forget about it.
Why?
But the Guardian,
why would you forget about President Bush killing 3,000 Americans? Why would anybody forget about that? Why?
Well, maybe because he's killed 600,000 Iraqis and thousands more Americans. We all know he's a mass murderer, Bill, so why are we arguing about 3,000 people when he's already killed more than half a million
Now,
people?
you're not teaching
According to Johns
anymore.
Hopkins University, 600,000 Americans have been killed in Iraq. So what do we, 3,000 more, that's really not a whole lot.
600,000 Americans have been killed in Iraq?
Right.
That's what you just said.
According to
600,000 Americans have been killed in Iraq.
600,000 Iraqis.
That's not what you said.
600,000 Iraqis and several.
Are you teaching anymore at the University of Wisconsin?
No, I'm not teaching right now.
Why?
I finished my semester. We had a great semester.
Why aren't you teaching anymore?
Because my semester ended. I'm on a semester-by-semester contract. I do intend to be back in the fall.
I don't think they're going to take you back.
My class was such a success.
They told us that you're not going to take you back.
They're very likely to be willing to take me back.
They told us they're not taking you back.
Well,
you know why they're not taking you back? Because you're irresponsible. You can't back up what you say. You're a propagandist.
Professor Barrett isn't alone in his beliefs. One of his supporters joins us now. Dr. Bob Bowman is a member of Scholars for 9/11 Truth, currently a Florida Democratic congressional candidate. All right, so you believe this is an inside job? Do you believe this is a controlled demolition as he does? Do you believe that, Madrid and Bali and Zarqawi carried out by military intelligence? You believe these conspiracy theories?
No. I believe that the truth about 9/11 is that we don't know the truth about 9/11, and we should. I'm agnostic about these conspiracy theories. I think Professor Barrett has every reason to say his and expound his theories, just as you do yours.
There's a big difference between watching a television show or listening to a radio show, and the question here is whether or not he's the right man for the job. You know what? It wasn't an inside job. We can see the planes. The planes hit the building. It wasn't a controlled demolition, and the buildings came down. And it just is beyond bizarre that he believes it. But he's entitled to. But he's not entitled. He doesn't have a right to teach our students in a classroom. That's not a right.
Well, he has every right, because his conspiracy theory is far more believable than yours. The
no conspiracy theory.
FBI has admitted they have absolutely no evidence against these guys, Osama bin Laden.
The planes, we have video, actually hit the building. When a big plane hits the building, the building's going to come tumbling down. Do you think George Bush did it? Do you think Israel did it? I've heard so many sick, twisted conspiracy theories. Where are you leaning towards? I don't know who did it, and neither do you, and we need the American people to get the truth. We have a right to know who did it, and so do the families of the victims. You know what? You can believe whatever you want. I don't really care. And this teacher can believe whatever he wants. I don't really care. I think you're both a little nutty.
You're a propagandist.
I think you're both a little nutty.
You're a propagandist.
A little nutty.
Propagandist.
A little nutty.
Propagandist.
We've had an uphill battle when it's come to going up against corporate media, and we've done tremendous work. And more people are aware of 9/11 Truth now than ever before, and more are becoming aware every day. I mean, there is a venerable army of people out there doing what we do every day, devoted our lives to exposing the fraud of September 11th.
Research it. More people are waking up every single day. More people realize what the stakes are.
Well, the solution is awareness, first of all. I think everybody needs to take that first step and understand that the official story is false. I also support an international investigation into the events of 9/11.
We've got hard physical evidence here. Let's open our minds up and request an investigation.
I want the truth. I want justice. I want those that's accountable to be punished.